said, now it's time to get into the 5 secrets to becoming a sponsor monster, and I hope you're ready. I'm going to be dropping some nuggets tonight, man. And I know some of you right now, you get on a Zoom. Sometimes you're like, I don't know, someone told me to get on a Zoom, so I'm going to get on a Zoom. It's not about getting on a Zoom. It's about getting from a Zoom. It's about getting from a Zoom. It's just all you need is 1 or 2 good ideas, right? If you get 1 or 2 guys, it's kind of like, I think about having a breakthrough is kind of like opening up a lock, right? When you're opening up a lock, you might have 1 digit, you might have 2 digits, you might even have 3 of the 4 digits already dialed in, but the lock's not opening for you. And all you need is 1 more good idea, right? 1 more number to that lock, and then bam, that lock comes open. And I'm pretty confident. I'm very confident. You know what? I'm extremely confident that this training tonight is going to get you going. Okay. It's good. And you might be brand new. You might have just gotten started earlier today, and someone said, just jump on this training. This dude, Tim's crazy. And you're like, man, what is this? What is going on here right now? What is up with this dude? But tonight, I'm going to give you the 5 secrets to becoming a sponsor monster. And the ideas that I'm going to share tonight, if you apply them, you can change your life, but you've got to look at yourself a little bit differently. Okay. You got to realize that you can become a sponsor monster. Okay. Anything, any skill in this business, whether it's becoming a monster at getting customers, whether it's becoming a sponsor monster, right? Whether it's, if you're in some of these people that are, these customer machines, right? You see these people that are just, they just get customers like never before, right? The retail bonus, they run through the fun house. There's people, I was looking today at how many people have already unlocked the 10%. It's overwhelming. Like there's so many people in the organization have already unlocked their 10% retail bonus, right? That means they've already gotten 4,000 in SP personally. And you hear about that, and some of you are like, man, I struggle every month to get my 1,000. How the heck is everybody getting 4,000 and it's only like the 7th, 8th of the month? Because they developed that skill, right? Nobody's a natural. Nobody's a natural. Okay? Nobody's a natural. You learn this business. Nobody's like born. And then somebody's like, well, I've been in sales my whole life. This is a little bit different because all network marketing is a transference of belief, right? It's a transference of emotion. And when you love a product and you transfer that belief, you get customers. When you love an opportunity and you share that opportunity, you transfer that belief in other people. That's how you get new business partners. That's how you sponsor new planners. And when you love working and sharing the business, you just love it. And some people say, there's a saying that says, you don't have to love the work. You just got to crave the results so bad that the work is irrelevant. I get that. I believe that too. But to really make the mega bucks, to be able to become a sponsor monster, I really think you've got to love sharing. You've got to love it. You can become like a baby sponsor monster, but to really be like a next level sponsor monster, you've got to really love it. You've got to really love it. You got to really love sharing. And when you love it, what happens is when people talk to you, they feel that conviction. They feel that excitement. And that excitement is contagious. And then they want to become sponsor monsters. People always ask me, why do the sponsor monsters all the top directors? Like, I'll give you some statistics, right? The numbers are out of the world, but the top 10 directors last month on average sponsored 72 people. That's out of control, okay? And the reason why I tell you that is not to make you go, wow, I'd never be able to sponsor 72. I don't think that anybody got started thinking that they could sponsor 72 people, right? Nobody did. But they got their first one, they got their second one, and then the ball starts rolling, and then they become unstoppable. They just can't stop talking about Riman. That's how these sponsor monsters get created. Nobody's like, they're born a baby, right? Then they turn into sponsor monsters. Okay. So tonight I'm going to be talking about becoming a sponsor monster, what that looks like. And some of you that are brand new that are like, Tim, you're talking about this wild stuff. You just got to get your base done first, right? Let's go into this. I'm going to jump into this training, and then I'll it's going to be a shorter training today, but I want you to realize that monsters are real. Okay. These are some real life examples of people in the organization. And these numbers, the number one person right there that was at 229, she's already sponsored 4 more people since Wednesday when I made this. Okay. She's absolutely out of this world. Okay. This lady's out of this world. She's been in the business. I probably think like maybe 4 months, 5 months, maybe 3 months. I don't know. Last month was her first month at team leader. And she was like, it was out of this world what she was able to do. And she just literally is so freaking fired up about Riman. She just can't stop talking about it. And I tell you that, right? Just to realize that I remember when she was getting started and she was just sponsoring a handful of people. And I was like, man, I hope she really gets some good traction. And I'm telling you what, once you start it's like a snowball effect. Once you start and understand something, these numbers I'm showing you are over the top. Okay. This is a very select few. I'm not telling you that in order to be successful, you've got to sponsor 100 people plus. That's not even a sponsor monster. That's a sponsor machine. Okay. But I'm showing you that there's people out there that are doing incredible things. Now, realizing all these people are top producers. Every single one of these people that are right here, they're all top producers. But the reason why I want to show you this is because when you start sponsoring a lot of people, your team will get better. And the reason why they get better is because you're enrolling new people and they have to step up. Okay, they have to step up because you're running with the ball, right? People that sponsor just a handful of people is like, I want to help these people, so I'm not going to sponsor nobody else. I'm just going to help them. You're not really helping them. You're not really helping them. You're actually hurting them because you're doing the work for them, right? People need to learn how to do this business, right? It's kind of like playing tag. You know what I mean? If you're playing tag and you're like, look, and you tag somebody and they're it, and it's like, all right, you're trying to play tag, and you're like, no, I'm just going to play tag for you. You just sit back. I'll keep doing it. I'm really good at tag. They're never going to get good at playing tag if you're playing tag for them. But sponsor monsters, their teams automatically step up because they see what they're doing because the leaders are leading by example. Now, these are over the top numbers, okay? These are over the top numbers. There's very few people that sponsor this amount of people, okay? These are heroes, okay? And not all heroes wear capes, right? I mean, it's literally over the top. These are literally screenshots from the back office of the top producers. These numbers are over the top. But I want to show you something, okay? What you want to do, though, always, okay, is you want to build 10 wide, okay? You want to build 10 wide. If you want to be a team leader, you want to have your team leader solid foundation, okay? Your solid foundation is 10 senior managers wide. Now, how many senior managers do you need to actually hit the rank? 3, okay? So you might have 3 or 4 or 5 and hit team leader, but you still want to have your 10 wide of senior managers. Why? Because it's not about hitting a rank. It's about making a lot of what? Money, okay? And now some of you are like, well, I don't want to make a lot of money, Tim. I know people that have a lot of money that have a lot of problems, okay? Look, I know broke people with problems too, okay? So I don't think the money is what gives them the problems. What I'm going to tell you is to make a lot of money anyway so you can help other people do it, right? You can't help somebody speak a language you don't speak. You can't help somebody do something that you don't necessarily know how to do, right? If you don't know how to swim, you're going to be a very poor swim instructor. So realize, I want you to go, when you hit team leader, you might hit team leader with 3 or 4 or 5 legs, but you want to keep going until you got 10 legs of senior managers. This is the solid foundation. 10, everybody can sponsor 10, okay? I did a call with last week with the Chinese leaders, and I said, everybody can get 10 because it takes 10 people to carry a casket, right? So we all have to have 10 friends. Somebody's like, I don't have 10 friends. Well, you need to join a club or something, okay? Because you need 10 people to carry a casket. So you know what? You need to make sure you have 10 friends, okay? But here's the deal. You might hit team leader, like I said, with 3 or 4 legs, but you still want to make sure you have that rock solid foundation, okay? This is the beginning of a sponsor monster, okay? Every sponsor monster has their 10 legs of senior managers, okay? You can't be a sponsor monster without 10 legs of senior managers, okay? Obviously, that's an automatic, right? You want to have your 10 legs of sponsor, and this is right here what it takes to be a sponsor monster. Now, you might need to enroll 20 people to get 10 senior managers. But the first thing you want to do is to get 10 people started, okay? Get 10 people started. That is the solid foundation, okay? Now, some of those people might get started and they might just want to become users of the product or maybe just get a handful of customers and never become a senior manager. However, if you can build 10 solid senior manager legs, you are going to be off to the races, man. I promise you that. That's what you want to do. You want to be a top producing team leader. You don't want to just hit it and be like, I'm a team leader. Check out my shiny pin. You know, this pin is awesome. I got a pin that says I'm a team leader. I'm great. That's not what we're doing it for, okay? We're doing it so our income goes to the roof, man. So you want to build your 10 legs to senior managers, okay? Now, I'm going to talk right now about how to create that sponsor monster mindset, okay? This is the sponsor monster mindset, okay? First thing is what? Sponsor monsters look at everybody as they say, help me on their forehead. Okay. Sponsor monsters look at everyone as they have help me written on their forehead. Okay. When they look at people, they see them with help me on their forehead. They want to help everybody out. They believe in this opportunity and they want to make sure that they let everybody be a part of it. They don't want to leave anybody behind. So one thing you want to do is you want to have that sponsor monster mindset that says, man, I am going to help people right now like never before. Number two, right? Sponsor monsters know that every person you share the Riman with is like opening up a gift, whether it's a Christmas gift or a birthday gift or whatever. Every time you open up share the opportunity, you're opening up a Christmas gift. So you want to be sharing the business with as many people as possible, right? Why? Because every time you open it, what happens? You never know what you're going to get. You might get the next director, senior director, national director. So every time you introduce somebody the opportunity, you don't know what's in their heart. And it's like opening up a gift. Here's what sponsor monsters understand, okay? Sponsor monsters understand you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. And they also understand you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So just talk to people, right? Just talk to people. That's what sponsor monsters understand. Sponsor monsters are like, look, you know what? I know I can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I can't say the right thing to the wrong person. I just got to talk to more people. Some are going to say yes, some are going to say no, right? Let's just go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Sponsor monsters understand the more you say, the more they judge. The less you say, the less they judge, right? They know not to fire hose people, okay? You want to do more and say less. Fire hosing somebody is like, imagine someone comes to your house, and they want a glass of water, and you break out a fire hose, okay? Too much, right? You want to just give them a little, give them give them a little bit, get them to the next event, get them to the next event, get them to the next event. Whether that's a pop-up, whether that's an opportunity presentation, whether that's an orientation, whatever, you want to move them along those bases, right? That's what obviously sponsor monsters get. Now, here's what sponsor monsters all do, right? They talk to more people. TTMP, talk to more people. People are like, what do you do? Talk to more people. What do I need to do? Talk to more people. What do I need to do? Talk to more people. Literally, talk to more people, okay? That's literally what we do. We are in the word of mouth advertising business. If we're in the word of mouth advertising business, what do you think we need to do? Flap our lips, right? Because our lips are paid for, right? So here's what I want to share with you. This is how sponsor monsters think, okay? Sponsor monsters know that people are going to be more impressed by their height of enthusiasm than the depth of their knowledge, right? They know that excitement is caught, not taught, right? So they just light themselves on fire and they're fired up about the opportunity. And as a result of that, people are attracted to sponsor monsters, right? Because they're on fire. Here's what I'll tell you about sponsor monsters, right? They understand that successful inviting is based on timing, not talent. So they talk to somebody and they say, no means not now. Ask me again, right? No means, hey, look, you know what? I don't have enough information. That's what they understand. You got to make sure no matter what, you give people the opportunity to be able to know what they're saying no to. You got to KNOW, know what you're saying no to. So I don't let people say no until they know what they're saying no to, right? You got to look at this. I'm not going to feel right if I don't make sure you look at this, okay? Here's what sponsor monsters do. They spend 1 minute with 100 people. They don't spend 100 minutes with one person, all right? They understand you fish with a fishing pole, not with a bat, all right? That's really such a good thing for you to understand. Here's another thing that sponsor monsters get. This is the mindset of a sponsor monster. They know that professionals sort, amateurs convince. So they're just flipping through a deck of cards looking for the aces. They know there's 4 aces in a deck of 52. They don't care if it's a jack. They don't talk to the jack and say, pull together, you can be an ace. All they do is they just keep on flipping over cards, talking to people, and they get to talk to people to talk to more people, okay? Here's what I'll tell you. Sponsor monsters understand this, right? They know that facts tell and stories sells. So they love to collect stories, right? That's why sponsor monsters, you'll see them always getting on the Zooms because they want to get all the stories so they have it in their arsenal, right? And here's the big thing you'll notice about sponsor monsters is they have the mindset that says some will, some won't, so what, so who's next, right? They know that some are going to say yes, some are going to say no. Who's the next person? They're looking for the next person because they're so fired up and excited about the opportunity that guess what they want to do? They want to talk to everybody, right? And then obviously they build with expectations, okay? They understand sponsor monsters build with expectancy, right? They know that they're going to win. They know that they're going to find people. They know that there's people out there that are looking for a chance, that are looking for a change, and they feel a feeling of responsibility. Sponsor monsters feel not just a responsibility, but an obligation. You see that? To talk to people, right? I love that about sponsor monsters. So here's the third thing about sponsor monsters of the 5 secrets. The sponsor monsters, okay, understand timing. They understand that there's 4 stages to timing. The formulation stage, the concentration stage, the momentum stage, and the stability stage. Here's what I'll tell you. The formulation stage, like the first 12 to 24 months, groundwork phase, putting things together, and when there's hurdles, embrace them, right? And the concentration stage typically lasts. Is that how you spell typically? No, dude, it's a Y, right? I don't know. Maybe it is right. Who knows? Anyways, if it's supposed to be, I don't know how to spell it. If I spell typically wrong, go ahead and, you know what, laugh and say, man, you know what? This guy doesn't know how to spell, okay? You guys got to realize I didn't graduate high school, okay? I'm not a very smart guy. I just am a sponsor. So typically the concentration stage lasts from 12 to 24 months. Okay. And this is the establishment phase. This is where you attract and develop leaders, right? You sift through leaders. You focus on phase one activity. Momentum is about 12 to 36 months. That's where explosive growth happens, okay? Massive recognition of your team. You want to be focusing on recognition during momentum stage. And then the stability is after the momentum stage. It's a proven opportunity. There's incredible success stories. You want to remain humble and be smart with your new wealth because you're going to be wealthy in the stability stage. So you want to realize that these are the 4 stages of a network marketing company. And sponsor monsters know that 95 of the $1 million earners get started in the formulation and concentration stage. Okay. Here's what they know. The momentum stage is where 95% of the $1 million earners earn their millions of dollars. So the money's made in the momentum stage, but they get the leaders that make that money get started in the formulation and concentration stage. The reason why sponsor monsters are running so hard right now is because they know that right now we're in that concentration stage. This is the time right now where everybody's running so hard because they know that this moment in time will never be recreated again. This moment in time will never be duplicated again. So what everybody right now that's a sponsor monster is building wide like never before because they know that if they can attract the right people right now and get them started before we hit momentum, they have the opportunity to be able to have some of these, $1 million earners in their organization. And because of our matching bonus, there's a lot of wealth that can be generated because of timing. So the key is to understand right now is the best time. We've never seen a time like this. This is the best time ever where you want to be running harder than ever before. So sponsor monsters understand timing, okay? They understand timing. Now, let me share with you something. Sponsor monsters are obsessed with phase one activity, okay? And I'm going to talk about what phase one activity is, okay? The phase one activity, and we call it the Thompson rule. Larry Thompson came up with these rules a long time ago that it called the 5, right? You got the 5, 15, right? And the 80%, okay? And I'm going to break it down. And I'm going to break it down first as like the gym, right? You got the people in the gym that go there that literally when they walk into the gym and they're trying to kill themselves in there, okay? They hit the gym like, 5 to 7 times a week. I mean, they're just, sometimes they'll hit it twice a day. They're incredible. Like, you ever seen these people? You're like, damn, dude, I see this person in the morning and night, whatever. They're out of this world. They want to look like a fitness model, right? That's the top 5%. Then you got 15% of people that just want to lose weight and get toned, right? And they go to the gym maybe 3 times a week. Then you got the people, the 80%ers that maybe go to the gym once a week, maybe, maybe walk around the block a couple times, right? Maybe speed walk though, right? That's 80% of the people out there, right? And sometimes you're in the 80%, sometimes you're in the 15%, sometimes you're in the 5%, meaning your activities, right? Meaning your activities. You might be hitting the gym up like a maniac, and then other things might come up in your life, and you might be a 15%er. You might be an 80%er. And then you got the inactive people, right? These are the people that don't care about fitness, right? They're just sitting at home stuffing their faces, okay? They stopped going to the gym. So these are the 4 different areas, and you might go in between them, right? You might be inactive. You might be a 5%er sometimes, 50. You know what I mean? Not all the time you're at one of these stages, okay? And it's no difference in network marketing, okay? There's no difference in network marketing. Let me explain. You got 5% of the people. These are the people that want to make 500, 1,000 a day. They're always in phase one activity, right? They're always phase one activity, which means what? Being in front of people, right? Talking to people, right? That's 5% activity. They're talking, they're talking about 10 people plus a day. Then you got your 15%ers, right? Those are the people that are just like the gym, right? They might hit the gym a little bit. They're talking to like three to 5, like 5 people a day, right? They're doing a moderate amount of phase one activity, okay? And you can tell what stage you're in when you go to your back office. It'll tell you how many new planners you've enrolled in this month. So if you look back last month, how many new planners did you enroll? And it'll tell you, are you a 5% or 15%er? Or an 80%er, or maybe you're an active, right? 80% of the people, they want to make 500,000 a month. And they share a couple times a day. And then you have inactive people, right? They're not in phase one activity. So if you haven't signed up anybody in the last 30 days, you might be in that inactivity stage. You might want to get over into one of the 80, 15, or 5 stages. That's where you want to live, right? If you want to be a 5%er, it's a lot of phase one activity. You can't like sit on the couch and hope that you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the late 70s, right? You're not going to be, jacked out of your mind if you're not doing the work. right? And same with business, right? You see people that are making a fortune, they're doing a lot of phase one activity. You look at the top 10 directors, I told you earlier, they averaged 72.5 recruits personally. So they're sponsor monsters, right? So what I'm telling you right now is you got to understand, where are you at? Okay. Let's talk about what phase one looks like. Okay. Sponsor monsters are obsessed with phase one activity, right? They're doers, right? They're the ones sharing the Riman opportunity, leading by example, excited, attractive, right? They're attracting people, their business is growing, right? And then people in phase two, that basic, anything other than phase one, you basically see you later, right? You got to get back into phase one activity. Phase one activities are overseeing the doers, right? They start managing people. You can become successful in management mode, because if you're in management mode, your team will go into management mode. Your team is going to follow what you do. That sponsor monsters understand that. They're afraid of phase two. Sponsor monsters live in fear of phase two. They don't ever want to stop getting out of phase one, because they know that their organization is going to do the same thing. So when you're no longer in phase one, you're not leading by example. You're right. You start to complain a little bit, right? You're not attractive. Your business is not growing anymore, okay? Because you're not in phase one activity. Then when you get into phase three activity, oh my goodness gracious, now you're overseeing the overseers of the doers. You're literally got one foot out, right? You're looking at other opportunities. You're looking for a shiny object. You're like, oh my God, there's got to be a better opportunity out there, because I'm not making a lot of money. Well, you're not doing phase one activity. So of course your organization, your business should be declining if you're in phase three, right? You got to stay in phase one. You guys have all read, you know what? My favorite book of all time, Your First Year Network Marketing. I think everybody's read this book by now. What does that book talk about? Sponsor monster, man. You got to be front line, always building frontline recruits, always doing it. And what happens when you're in phase three is you complain, you're negative, you're unattractive. Your business starts to decline. And then phase four is goodness gracious. Holy smokes. You're overseeing the overseers, overseers, the doers, man. You're managing people in phase three. You complain nonstop. There's nothing exciting to you, right? Somebody goes, oh my God, my team's, I have a complainer on my team. Well, dude, they've been out of phase one for 6 months. Of course, they're in phase four now. They complain nonstop. They're angry. They're ugly, right? When I talk about attractive, not attractive, unattractive, and ugly, I'm not talking about appearance-wise. I'm talking about attitude-wise. Their business in phase four, your business is you're killing yourself. Sponsor monsters get this. That's why they live in phase one. They live in phase one, right? I live in phase one. I don't ever get out of phase one activity. Why? Because that's where all the money's at, right? If I'm always sponsoring new people, what is my team doing? Doing the same thing. So you want to always be in phase one if you want to have success, okay? And that's just sponsor monster, right? Now, here's the last thing. This is the fifth one. Sponsor monsters understand they've got to build event to event. Sponsor monsters know that because they're building so many people. They've got to get their people to an event so the light bulbs can be lifted in their mind. So sponsor monsters get this, right? This is 3 lessons my mentor taught me about conventions, right? You want to get 10 legs of leaders at the convention, okay? Now, you might only have 5 or 6 at this convention. That's okay. Whatever it is what it is. I would encourage you to sponsor a couple more and get them there. That would be the smart thing to do. But whatever, you're going to do the best you can do. But next event, you want to make sure no matter what, you get 10 legs. I'm telling you, it's not too late. You can get 10 legs there. Number 2 is this. Okay, now this isn't an exact math, but I've never seen it not work. Okay, if you want to make 100,000 a year income, get 100 people to convention. Get 100 people to convention. If you get 100 people at convention, that's where you're going to earn that 6-figure income. Now, if it's in one leg, obviously, you know what? You didn't have 100 people there. One of your team did, right? You want to get a balanced organization, but you want to get 100 people to convention. And I'm telling you, that'll solidify a 6-figure income. Now, can you make a 6-figure income with only having 50? Of course. But what I'm saying is, if you have 100 people there, you're locked in. You're good to go, right? You're gonna get that big residual income. Now, if you want to make a 7-figure income, get 1,000 people convention. Okay, that'll get. Now you might get to a 7-figure income with maybe 700, 600, 500 people at the convention, but you still want to push it for that 1,000. You get 1,000 people at the convention, 7 figures. You don't even have to worry about it, right? It's a guarantee. So the convention is where the leaders are made. That's how you develop leaders. That's where the light bulbs go off. Okay, sponsor monsters get that better than anybody. They know that they've got to get people to the event if they want their organization to grow, right? You want to make sure that you get all your team to the event because that's where you're going to that's how you're going to make a fortune, right? Let's talk a little bit about this. Let's wrap this thing up. Right now, You got to get call to action, right? You want to get everybody registered for roadmap, right? Register yourself, register everybody for roadmap, get your plane tickets, book it, your hotel book, lock it in. Best investment you ever make is an investment in yourself. 5 guests, no matter what, on the Monday overview. You want to get guests on that Monday overview. But I'm challenging you right now. It's not about can or can, it's about will or won't, right? What I want to, biggest thing is everybody's got to be thinking right now, I want to recruit 3 new planners in the next 7 days. Because if I get 3 new planners in the next 7 days, they're going to have time to run for the 3X bonus as well. But if I wait till the last week to get my 3 new planners in, they're not going to have an adequate amount of time. That's why right now the recruiting numbers are so high. Everybody's like, why are the recruiting numbers so high right now in the organization? Everybody's recruiting like crazy, right? I was just talking to Chris Kim about this yesterday. And I said, because everybody on our team is so smart, they understand they want to get their people started now. They want to recruit their people now. Our whole team gets this. They want to recruit 3 people now so they have the opportunity to be able to help them get that bonus as well. And then obviously we're going to all qualify for the 3X promotion. And then if you haven't hit team leader yet, get team leader wrapped up in August. This moment in time is never going to be recreated again. This moment in time will never be duplicated again. What would happen in your mind and your heart if you made a decision right now to go all in? Think about it. What would happen? What would happen if you decided right now to say, you know what? I'm going to flip that script. I'm going to turn into a sponsor monster. What would happen? Think about it. What would happen? Is nothing bad's going to happen to you if you decide, look, man, I'm going to become a sponsor monster. I'm just going to go wild. Think about it. Only good things are going to happen to you. So what I'm challenging you to do is to step up. Now, I'm not telling you go sponsor 100 like some of those wild people. I'm telling you, let's go for 10. Now, you might only be able to get to 5 this month or whatever. All I'm asking you to do is to get a vision. You got to be able to visualize yourself. You got to be able to say, you know what? I can do it. I can make it happen, right? I've got what it takes to become a success. I've got what it takes to be able to win big. It's just your heart. Doesn't make a difference how look, I'm in the beauty industry. I'm a dude. I'm an ugly dude in the beauty industry, and I'm having success. Why? Because it doesn't matter that I'm a dude in the beauty industry, and my heart's on fire because I know that I got my hands on a gold mine, and I want to share with everybody. And I know that I got the best products. I know I got the best opportunity, and I want to tell everybody about it. That's it. Like, you just got to decide right now, hey, look, I can do this. I can make it happen. And then once you decide that you can do it, you got to make a decision right now to say, look, I am going to do it. I am going to make it happen. I'm going all in. I'm going to give it everything that I got. I'm going to give it everything that I got. I'm going to make a commitment in my mind. You know what? You want to be thinking to yourself, man, I'm going to make a commitment in my heart. I'm going all in. This moment in time will never be recreated again. And I'm going to make it happen, man. I'm going to change my family tree forever. If not now, then when? If not you, then who? And if not this, then what? Think about it. What would happen if you just transformed into a sponsor monster? What would happen to your organization? Your team would be lit on fire. You'd be so attractive. People are like, oh my God, you're so excited. And people just want to be around you. You got to think like, go back to 100-acre woods. Go back to 100-acre woods. Some of you are like, what is 100-acre woods, man? I'm talking about Christopher Robin. I'm talking about Winnie the Pooh. I'm telling you, man, you got to be Tigger. You got to be Tigger. Don't be Eeyore. You got to be Tigger, man. You got to be bouncing around, fired up like never before. And people are like, oh my God, I want to be around you. So think about it. What does you on fire look like? What does you with an eye gaze that says, I'm up to something? Do you want to join me? What does that version of you look like? What would happen if you just lit yourself on fire, man, and you stepped away from your fear, you stepped away from your doubts, you stepped away from your self-imposed limitations and said, I'm going all in. I'm going to give it everything that I got. Man, this is my time. This is my chance. I'm going to put my blinders on, man. I'm going to have what they call rhino vision. Rhinoceroses are incredible creatures. Think about it. A rhinoceros has no peripheral vision. They can't see left or right. All they can see is what's in front of them. Think about that. Think about a rhinoceros can run 30 miles an hour for a long time. Think about if a rhinoceros locks in on you, you're in trouble. Because a rhino can't see anything else. What would happen if you got rhino vision? Think about what would happen if you turned into a rhino. Rhinos, you try to shoot a rhino, you better have a rhino bullet because they have like 6-inch thick skin right there on their shoulder blades. Woo! You can't stop a rhino. Somebody goes, well, I just climb a tree, Tim. Well, they put a horn on them. God was like, let's put a horn on these guys. Let's put a horn on them. You know what I mean? Knock a dang tree down, right? So all I'm telling you is this, man, let's catch rhino vision. Don't worry, rhino's not going to eat you. Rhinos don't eat people. They just eat vegetarians. They're vegetarian. They're vegan, man, so we're good. But we don't want to get stomped on them, though. They'll stomp on us. What I'm telling you right now is this. You can do it. You can make it happen. But you got to decide right now. You got to decide right now. If not now, then when? What would happen if you made a decision right now in your mind and your heart to say, look, this is my time. This is my chance. I'm going to give it everything that I got. I'm going all in, man. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to step up. I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to talk to everybody that I know. I'm going to start playing tag like never before, man. I'm going to let everybody find out about this Riman opportunity. I'm not going to keep it. I'm not going to keep quiet about this, man. I got an obligation. I got a responsibility to share this with people, and I'm going to let everybody find out about this Riman opportunity. I'm going to help everybody look better, man. I'm going to help everybody make more money. I'm going to help everybody change their life. This moment in time will never happen again. And I'm asking you right now, what does you on a mission look like? With an eye gaze that says, man, I'm up to something. What does that version of you look like? What's the best version of you? I'm asking you, why not be that person right now? Why not make a decision in our heart right now to say, this is it. This is my time. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to go all out. I'm going to turn myself into a sponsor monster. I'm going to help more people succeed. This is it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's go all in right now. Let's decide. Let's make it happen. Let's step up. I cannot wait for the convention, man. We're going to have so much fun in Vegas. Let's get as many people there as we possibly can. Let's get new people started. Let's qualify for the 3X. Let's go to the top together. Thanks for dialing in. I hope you guys got some great information tonight. God bless you guys. See you guys at the top. Let's make it happen, everybody. Woo, man.